In this video, I want to take a few minutes to share with you some tips and tricks on how to effectively use QuadDraw. So first things first, before we get into that, let's just talk about the basics of what QuadDraw can do. Essentially, once you've entered the tool, you're going to want to use either your left mouse button, your middle mouse button, Control, Shift, or a combination of the two. So essentially with all those combinations, you'll have every function available to you within QuadDraw. So let's start with the left mouse button. If you were just to click that, you'll get these little dots. And these are actually not even adding anything into your scene at this point. They're just sitting in the video card. Once you created 4, so here I'm just creating another set of 4 to give me 8 total dots, you can start creating polygons. So to do that, you just hold Shift and you move your cursor over anywhere in between these 4 dots. And here you can see I'm just hovering between any of these 4, and I can just left click to create a polygon. At this point, we've actually created a real live polygon, and it's actually created an actual object in your scene. And we can hover over to these points or move our cursor over here and just add more polygons. These polygons are actually connected together, so using my middle mouse button I can actually just tweak these components along that grid. You can see I can just move an edge, I can move an entire polygon or individual vertices, all using the middle mouse button. It's always going to be locked to the grid here. Eventually we're going to talk about how you can use QuadDraw with on top of a mesh to help you resurface a mesh and just kind of organize the polygons on a mesh. But right now we're stuck to the grid itself. So with the left mouse button, again, we can add points. Middle mouse button lets you tweak either the virtual points or the polygon components. Holding Shift will let you create polygons. If you hold Shift on an already created polygon, you'll essentially get this Insert Edge Loop tool. So if you hold it on top of an edge, you can see that you can dynamically change that position. And if you hold Shift and middle click, you'll actually snap right to the middle of that edge loop. So it'll just snap right along the edge and create an edge loop right down the middle. So let's go to Control now. Control with the left mouse button lets you just delete polygons, so you can just paint the deletion just like that. So you can do it all at once, or you can do individual polygons at a time. So I can just insert another polygon holding Shift there. I'm actually going to hide my grid to make things a little bit easier to see. And if you hold Control, that same hotkey, and instead of left clicking using your middle mouse button, you can actually weld components together. So here you can see I can weld edges, or you can weld individual vertices just by using your Control plus middle mouse button. So Control left lets you delete, and then Control plus middle lets you actually weld. So here we can just weld these components like that. And I can just add more polygons just by adding some Insert Edge Loop function here. And you can see we can easily and quickly create polygons with just those functions. On top of that, you can use Control plus Shift to give yourself a live preview of this little floating polygon under your cursor. And with the middle mouse button, you can resize it, and you can just sort of paint polygons just like this. And you can work your way around like that. And even with the Shift again, you can just insert an edge loop that goes all the way around that. And again, it's all very interactive. So here with Control, I can just quickly delete a bunch of these, and that's pretty much the main functions of QuadDraw. So Control, Control Shift, and middle, and your left mouse button, and any combination of those 3 will give you some function. It's a lot to remember at once. Feel free to check out the NEX help to give you a rundown of all those, and once you spend a few minutes with it, you'll actually get pretty quick with memorizing all that, and you'll be able to just run through it. Okay, so that basically creates it on the grid. And so if I now that I have this object, actually I can actually deselect it and then go back to QuadDraw and then create more points or polygons using whatever function I want within QuadDraw. It's going to create another object. So see, that's a separate object, and this is a separate object here as well. So you can actually create separate objects just by exiting the tool and entering the tool without anything selected. If you have something selected, for example, if I select these polygons and enter the tool again, I can just add to that polygon like that. And here I actually went a little bit too far, so I can just undo and recreate those polygons. So each undo actually just removes one polygon at a time as well. So that is really helpful. So if you're going through a long strip and you've created a nice polygon, and the last one actually picked or created a set of polygons that were in a different orientation that you wanted, you can undo those very easily. Okay, so that, like I said, gets us the general overview of QuadDraw. Everything we've created at this point is on the grid, and you'll notice that if I right click or click this button here, you can set to switch from the grid to a different surface. So these are there's 4 objects in my scene at this point. 2 we've just created and 2 that were actually hidden when we started this video. And so you can actually set these as your reference plane. So essentially you can draw on top of that. So what I'm going to do is actually select these guys that I just created and go into my outliner and unhide the object that I have here and show you that we have